Okay, we're going to talk about the Ashanti Nation. The Golden Stool is the uniting power. It's basically the soul of this part of Africa. It's the spirit of their nation. So, how did it come about? It became the greatest achievement of the most famous African spiritual practitioner. So he basically conjured it from the sky amongst thunderstorms and rumbling and white clouds and dust and all of this in 1700. And it landed on the lap of Osi Tutu, which proclaimed him to be the new dynasty, the leader of this new dynasty, because he united the nations. The stool contains the soul of the Ashanti, a symbol of their nationhood. And so anybody that tries to touch, sit, or talk about trying to do such a thing throws the Ashanti into a frenzy. So here is a picture of the stool. During the end of the 19th century, the Ashanti people clashed with the British. Big surprise, right? Because the British sought to colonize that whole area called the Gold Coast. In 1896, the Ashantis allowed the British to seize the king, and so he went into exile on the Seychelles, which is a small island off the coast of Africa. In doing so, this was a way to protect the stool. In the early 1920s, when a group of African road builders accidentally found the hiding place of the Golden Stool and they robbed it of some of its detachable gold ornaments, which are these right here. You can see these are detachable ornaments. News swept throughout the Ashanti of the stealing and threw the country into mourning. The culprits were arrested and banished. And it was in this attempt to undermine the native dwellers that sparked the War of the Golden Stool. So in an attempt for peace, the British governor boldly asked if he could sit on the Golden Stool, not knowing that he was being offensive. The Queen was enraged, gathered her men to attack the British. The British ordered a search of the stool, which the Ashanti had kept well hidden, so they weren't able to find it. And the Queen's bravery and leadership inspired her people to fight, and for months they were able to keep the British at bay. But the British sent 1,400 troops to seize the Ashanti fighters, and although the Queen was not successful in ousting the British, she did save the Golden Stool from capture. The Queen, however, went into exile, and she later died. The King was allowed to return 3 years later, and at that point they brought the stool out only with the reassurance that it would not be taken. That was in 1935. On March 6th of 1957, Ghana declared its independence and became the first sub-Saharan African country to do so. The Ashanti-Hini, who is sitting here in this picture, is seen seated next to the Golden Stool in a sports stadium there, celebrating his 25th Jubilee, and his anniversary. To his left is the Golden Stool, and it's sitting on a chair, as described earlier, and it never touches the ground. The stool itself never touches the ground. Attached to the stool is 1 gold and 2 brass bells. It's hard to see them from here. Let me go back to the slide previously so you can see them easily here. Here's the bells, and then here's the golden one there. And then there's the attachments, the ornaments. And the bells are to announce his presence when the Ashanti-Hini is coming, because the Golden Stool follows him. The 4 golden enemies, which are the attachments, are there representing their enemies of the Ashanti. Upon the new year, they baptize the Golden Stool. It's a purification ritual. And since the stool is a symbol of the nation, the spirit of the nation, this baptism is a symbolic and purifying ceremony that's practiced annually. So let's move on to Cuba, which is in the Democratic Republic of Congo.